Welcome to Scoop Road Order. Merry Christmas. Christmas Eve. We are here. We're bringing the heat. A lot of bowl practice buzz going. Trey Henderson was around there buzzing around practice today. Got a lot of updates on who is staying, going. This is going to be a huge bowl prep for us. We've got a lot of guys that are, I think, sticking around for 2024, guys. So you guys better buckle up. We're going to have a huge year this year, finish the year, and then we also have a huge 2024. So we're going to get into all of that. As always, we appreciate you guys kicking it with us. I know it's Christmas Eve. I know you got your families, you got mass, you got whatever you're doing, but we're here, we're grinding, and we appreciate you guys. Team arrived in Dallas last night. They had a good workout this morning. They got to do the Christmas thing today, tomorrow, whatever. Get it out of their system, and then get ready to go beat Missouri. So we're going to break all of that down. If you enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Merry Christmas to all of you guys. I'd love to hear in the comments, what are you guys doing for Christmas? Do you guys watch Christmas Vacation? What are your favorite Christmas movies? What do you guys eat? What do you guys do? What are your traditions? What are the gifts that you got for your family? Anything you guys got on Christmas? I'm a big Christmas guy. I love Christmas. So Merry Christmas to all of you. And I appreciate you guys kicking it with us. Again, I know some of you guys are probably annoyed by your family at this point in the afternoon or this night. You guys are like, man, thank God Buckeye Scoop is going live tonight so that I have something to watch and kick it with. That being said, going to bring in our resident Grinch, Nevada Buck. Nevada, you've already put Cindy Lou Who to bed. You've got your little dog with the antlers tied to his head. You're sealing all of the Who hash and the Who bells and everything else. What is your Christmas like as Nevada Buck, as the Grinch, rolling through Los Angeles tonight?
Well, I am just so happy to be pumping the sunshine to everybody there about. I'm trying to spread the good word about Ohio State football because, you know, I somebody said they called me a sunshine pumper on the board, and I'm like, I'm not a sunshine pumper. I'm a weatherman. I'm a weatherman, and I'm looking outside and I see it's 75 degrees and sunny, and this team is 11-1. This team is going to be returning the vast majority of guys for next year's for another run. We've got the one of the youngest head coaches in all of college football, who's a quarterback whisperer and savant. We've just landed one of the best recruiting classes in the country again. On top of
Again.
that, so man, if you're not happy, if you're not optimistic, if you're not, then I feel sorry for you because I think you're missing it. So yes, I am the president of the Sunshine Pumpers Club, and that's what I'm going to get for Christmas this year in my stocking. I'm going to get like a big Sunshine Pumper shirt, and there will be no coal or anything in my stocking because I am positive about Ohio State, and I am positive that on the 29th that we're going to go out there and we're going to kick some Missouri booty. And if you're a betting person or not a betting person, but you have access to things, I'm telling you, it's free money. Go take Ohio State against Missouri because the rest of the world does not know what you do, which is that Ohio State is ready, primed, and ready to roll Missouri on the 29th.
Yeah, I totally agree. We got our first super chat. Again, all of our super chats are going to our Pay It Forward fund to help our, we give out subscriptions to our military, our active military that are overseas. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you for the deuce, Daniel O'Leary. Merry Christmas to you. I agree, man. I've felt good about Ohio State for a long time, but I'm just saying, like, this is a different animal than it's been the last few years because our best players are playing in the bowl game. Like Trey Henderson is playing, like guys that Emeka Egbuka is playing, Mike Hall, JT2 Maloa, Jack Sawyer. These guys are all playing in the bowl game. They're not sitting out. Again, we've had years where Garrett Wilson declined, Nick Petit Frere declined, Haskell Garrett, who was an undrafted guy, declined, which is kind of stupid. But this year, like, man, it is all hands on deck. Let's go get a dub. Let's potentially come back for next year. Again, a lot of you guys are NIL haters, but NIL is going to keep a lot of these guys in Columbus next year. I think we're going to have a huge swath of these juniors that decide to come back for one last run. Because, again, Michigan is going to get hit with a nuclear bomb, and Ohio State is going to be, up on the up and up next year. Because I think we're going to be fantastic if our quarterback's Devin Brown or whoever, our infrastructure between the O-line with 4 starters back, with Trey Henderson potentially coming back, Mecca coming back, then you throw in J.J. Smith, you throw in Ennis, you throw in Tate. Like, our infrastructure is going to be crazy. Jelani Thurman, one of the most talented tight ends we've ever had. Our offense will be wild. And I think that these guys have a different edge right now, and I'm really excited to see. These guys had a great bowl practice today. Trey Henderson's buzzing around. Again, I think Trey's gonna be a monster. I mean, a lot of people are, oh, is Trey scared? Is he worried? I was like, no, I think Trey's gonna be that dude. He's gonna be that dude in this Cotton Bowl. I think they're gonna feature him. I think they're gonna feed him. Again, like he's a guy that, like he's had impeccable highs as an Ohio State running back. He's had some very low lows where he's missed a lot of time. And I think that, there's a lot of, inertia for him to come back for one more year, because I think that if he could put it all together and have that capstone season, again, you got to remember Eddie George in 95 won the Heisman as a senior running back, a senior, not a junior, a senior. Came back for his fourth year, didn't start his career off great, but he had that massive season in 1995 where it propelled him into being a top 20 pick and being a fringe Hall of Fame type running back with the Titans. And they ran him till there was no tread left. But I mean, I'm just telling you, like he's a monster. So I think Trey is going to be a featured guy. I think Emeka. The guy that I think is going to really blow up this Cotton Bowl, if you said, Kirk, who would you want to bet on for the smart money? It's Carnell Tate. It's Carnell Tate. He's run with the twos all year, and guess who the second team quarterback was all year? Devin Brown. So the chemistry is outstanding there. But Nevada, we've had a lot of buzz on practice. Jelani Thurman's been killing it. There's been some shifting around the O-line between Matt Jones and center, Luke Montgomery playing right guard. Who are some guys that you think are standing out and could be standouts in the Cotton Bowl?
Well, I want to talk about Trey Henderson, but I want to talk about Trey Henderson for a different reason than we're talking about. You're talking about Trey Henderson. I think what happens to Trey Henderson, it's going to be a subtle shift, but when you have a quarterback who is a legitimate threat to keep the ball and serves as a constraint to the defense, it just opens it up so much for a running back like Trey Henderson. And that's why I think he's going to break some big runs. And that's why I think he's going to feast in the Cotton Bowl. I mean, we talked about that 13 team that averaged 6.7 yards per carry. You look at, Carlos Hyde, Jordan Hall, Braxton. I mean, just like everybody up and down the line was all, averaged, 6, 7, 8, 9 yards per carry. It's because you had a quarterback that was a legitimate threat to keep. And Devin doesn't need to be Braxton Miller. Devin doesn't need to be Terrell Pryor, but Devin just doesn't need to be a statue. And I think when you see that and you see that little bit of hesitation that's going to provide to the Missouri defense because they're going to have to account for him, I think that's going to open up big for Trey Henderson. And, as for other guys that they're going to be going, we've talked about Jelani Thurman, who I think is going to be I think that G. Scott is going to have himself a game too. I think that they've liked some of the things that they can do with him. He's a little bit lighter, looking a little bit quicker during the bowl prep, and I just have a sneaking suspicion that he could do something. And then my all-time favorite, Xavier Johnson. Xavier, guy that came from nowhere to captain. I think they've got some stuff in store for him as well. And I think I just, again, have just a hunch. If there's an Xavier Johnson touchdown prop, you might want to sprinkle a little bit of something on there from Nevada, because I think they might have something special in store for him on that.
You feel better about that than the one that it was 28-0 and you had the winning team and all of a sudden it all faded away?
Yeah, I didn't have that one, but that would have been bad. That would have been a bad. Oh, no, I did have that one. I was talking about the 28-0.
No,
game.
I was talking about the one where you were up 28-0. You're like, oh, this is
that
easy.
was terrible.
Let me go cash the ticket. And you're like, Nevada, because I had more comments that were dying left when you said, oh, Nevada Buck became poor Buck in like one day, and I was like, oh my god, I couldn't imagine 28-0 money line, and you're just like, oh, 28-0, feeling good, and all of a sudden it just melted away right in front of your eyes. But I had a lot of people that are just like, they were laughing about that because you were so funny and so humble about it, because you're just like, yeah, I don't get them all right. I felt pretty good. I mean, when you're up 28-0, you're gonna be feeling pretty good. Then all of a sudden it just melted like a snow cone in Phoenix, and you're just like, oh, no longer good.
No, I blocked that out of my mind. That was terrible. That was absolutely terrible. That happened too, man. That was terrible.
That was a week ago. Yeah, what's it like? This is like, I'm not going into interest. I mean,
bad.
I've had those bad beats before, man. Not like you, because your volume is way higher than mine is. But I mean, I've had the bad beats, and you never forget the bad beats. Tater Buck, thank you for the 20. Merry Christmas. Appreciate you, brother. Merry Christmas to you both. The best Buckeye news on the planet. Appreciate that. Watching A Christmas Story is a must. Absolutely. Ralphie is the GOAT. Sour cream cheddar chips is a must. Thank God I got somebody else that knows what great chips taste like. So thank you, my man. What is a Christmas tradition for Kirk and Nevada Buck? 2024 will be epic. For me, my favorite Christmas movie of all time, by far, by a country mile, it's not It's a Wonderful Life. It's not Christmas Story. Bad Santa, Billy Bob Thornton is the greatest movie ever made. I die laughing. It's funny because TJ Downing used to call me Bad Santa back in the day. We'd go to bowl practice and we would find a bar that would sell Old Granddad because that's what he drinks in that. And it's like the nastiest, swill, stiff liquor ever. And me and TJ would drink Old Granddad at the bar before we get ready to go play Notre Dame or whatever. And it was hilarious because like I was like, this stuff is so nasty, such swell. But it was funny because it was like, this is what Bad Santa drinks, so we had to drink it. So Bad Santa is a must for me. My old lady's making Christmas cookies right now, so I'll probably eat about 600 of those. Um, whatever. I went Christmas shopping to get her something, whatever tonight. But those are my traditions. Nevada, do you have Christmas traditions other than betting on whatever the games were, the Browns to beat the Texans or whatever?
Yeah, no, betting on obscure sports during Christmas time is definitely a Nevada Buck thing. Because again, I am a degenerate gambler, so I'll bet on
Yes.
anything. We will bet. We will live bet. We'll bet stuff. I'll bet like Saudi soccer. I'll bet like badminton in Liechtenstein. I'll bet anything. So there's that, and and Christmas Vacation. I'll watch Christmas Vacation. That is kind of
Uh,
my. I'm a Chevy Chase guy, so I'll definitely watch that. That'll definitely put a smile on my face every Christmas for sure.
what is the best scene in Christmas Vacation? It has to be when he's at the perfume counter and he says, "You can't see the line, can you, Russ?" And like the chick's like there, she's got the like little thing pulled up, and it's like, "Oh, you can't see the line." He's like, "Can't see the line, can you, Russ?" So I was like, then she's like jumping off the diving board with the pool lady's fantasizing about buying. He doesn't get the Christmas bonus. He gets like the Jelly of the Month club. That has to be the best scene in the whole movie, right?
Well, that I mean, obviously that and the Christmas lights, but yeah, no, there's so many great scenes in that movie that it's a classic. I mean, Chevy Chase is a underrated comedic genius, and I'm definitely looking forward to flipping that thing on here tonight and watching.
I appreciate it so much. Dylan Couch, appreciate you. Thank you for 5, my friend. Huge fan of the show. Always makes my work breaks better. Thank you. I appreciate it. That's our goal. Is like if you get a little 15-minute like time to watch us, we hope that it's funny and entertaining. So thank you so much for that. Merry Christmas to everyone, and thank you to our troops at home and overseas. Again, our troops make this country what it is, and don't ever forget that. Because again, the second we don't have the toughest military in the world, we're not going to be America anymore. So I appreciate you, Dylan. Thank you for recognizing that. Uh, Nevada, like as we get into bowl prep, these guys are getting after it a little bit. I mean, these practices down at the bowl site are pretty physical, but it's a lot more mental as they're starting to get ready for Missouri. Um, how excited are you as you've seen kind of the morphing of bowl prep, the morphing of who's playing? Again, after you lose the game to Michigan, there's a lot of guys that potentially are on the fence about playing or not playing. The amount of guys that we have playing is staggering and it's actually outstanding. And it's a big credit to Ryan Day, the culture of the program, the direction of the program, and the desire to send the seniors and the juniors that are going to declare for the draft out the correct way. But what are your thoughts as you've learned all of this is going on?
Well, look, it's been a very emotional bowl prep for Ohio State. I mean, they had a very emotional meeting, talking about guys returning, talking about guys, the importance of the Cotton Bowl game, talking about trying to, like you said, sending guys out the right way and kind of setting the table for 2024. And the bowl prep's kind of morphed because it started out as the younger guys kind of doing the thing, stars of Showtime. Let's see what Johnny Thurman and Jermaine Matthews and Malik Hartford and Caden Curry and Hero Canoe. Let's see what those guys can do. And now it's like the week before Michigan game. I mean, it's like you said, it's all hands on deck. This is a full Ohio State team that's going into this thing, and it might be a completely full Ohio State team going into this thing, which is kind of crazy to think about. But no, it's been a complete change from young guys to grizzled veterans. And for as a fan, it just the idea that you're going to be returning the core of this team next year to me is one of the more unbelievable things that's happened out of this entire season because I would have bet anything against that happening, with 4 or 5 weeks to go in the season, and now it's the chalky pick that the majority of them come back, and you just think about that. I mean, you think about when you're returning JT and Jack and Tyreek and Cody Simon on your defense, and Denzel and Jordan Hancock. I mean, all of a sudden you go from wow, how are we going to fill these things? We've got so many holes to wow, we're just loaded for next year. So no, I could not be more excited, but it all starts on the 29th. The Devin Brown story, we kind of talk, we don't want to talk too much about it because we don't want to overhype it, but what a great story. I mean, Devin Brown is going out there, and for me, he's going to kind of write this next chapter of Ohio State football. And you know but as exciting as it is to see his play, it's going to be, to me, I'm going to be watching, how does Ryan Day call the game? What will Ryan Day allow Devin Brown to do? And will the Ohio State offense evolve to become a true dual threat type of stressor on defenses, as I think that they should be, as I think that he's been missing the boat on for the past 3 years? I mean, if he'll fully embrace that, I think the OSU offense can meet their full potential for 2024, and that's what I'm excited to see.
Totally agree. So Amy in the chat had a great question. Again, this is something we talked about. Should we go this, not go with this? We talked about it 2 weeks ago. She says, and again, you can frame this however you want. Can we get a new QB? I want Will Howard, please. And there's a lot of smoke around Will Howard right now in Ohio State. Devin Brown is the guy right now. He burned all the boats. There's nowhere for him to float off to. Your thoughts on that, Nevada? Because Will Howard is a very intriguing name. He has not signed with USC. They kicked Malachi Nelson to the portal. But I think Lincoln might have screwed the pooch there in terms of who he was trying to flip on signing day. And so Will Howard is a little more skeptical. What are your thoughts on Will Howard versus Devin Brown? Obviously, Devin's our guy going forward. But your thoughts on Will Howard?
Well, what I can tell you is that Will Howard wants to be at Ohio State. The question is, does Ohio State want Will Howard?
Yeah.
And I think, for Ohio State, they've been waiting. Nothing that has happened through bowl prep has led them to pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Will, you need to get here on the next Greyhound bus to Columbus," because Devin's been terrific. I mean, again, I don't want to overhype it, but he's been really, really good, and the offense has looked really, really good, and it's looked really, really diverse. And they've run the whole playbook. They've run power. They've run straight quarterback option. They're running true zone read. I mean, they're stressing the defense in every possible way with the quarterback that runs. And now we've talked about this many times as well. Practice isn't games, and some guys are great in practice, and then they get in the games, and the lights are too bright for them. Now, will Devin Brown be one of those guys? It's just unknowable until he gets a chance to really fully start. Because all we've seen up until now has been Devin coming in and handing off, or Devin coming in a specialty situation where it's predetermined he's going to keep or throw or whatever it is. Now we're going to get a chance to see him in a full game against a quality opponent in the Cotton Bowl. So it's going to be a great chance to kind of see what we've got. And for Ryan Day, he's going to get a chance for him to see what he's got. And if Devin goes out there and completely throws up all over himself, I would imagine he'd be on the phone to Will Howard the next day saying, "Will, come on down." But short of that, I think they'll go with what they want. But Will Howard would be it's a great insurance policy to have because he wants to be at Ohio State, and we'll see if Ohio State wants him.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see how these next 6-7 days go. I'm telling you, like that game's there's gonna be far-reaching implications from how Devin Brown does in that game, and if he balls out, he's got it locked down for next year. If he doesn't, then we'll see. Because I know the one thing about Ryan Day is he does not sit still. He wants an A-plus, A-list quarterback basically every year for eternity when he's at Ohio State. Captain Jack from South Point. My ex is from Chesapeake. South Point was their biggest rival, so God bless South Point. Appreciate you, brother, and Merry Christmas. Nevada, we're about a week out. There's been a little NFL football today. How are you feeling? Again, I feel better and better every day about this game. I think that Missouri, they lost a couple of their stars to injury that aren't going to be able to play, specifically at cornerback, is not going to be ready to play. Mac is playing. I think Marvin is very much on the fence, but I think outside of Marvin, I think everybody else is strapping up for this game. And again, there could be some craziness where guys declare that they're out for whatever reason, but again, I think the biggest thing to me is a lot of these guys can't afford to skip the game because I don't think that they were good enough this year. There's not a lot of guys. I mean, Marvin's a top five pick, so he can do whatever he wants. Marvin could go, fly to Cabo for the next 6 months and get drafted fifth overall and never run a 40, never do anything, and he'll be fine. But he's it. The rest of these guys got to go strap up and play a little football. How are you feeling? You know, I mean, the sand is coming out of the hourglass pretty quick now. I mean, those guys are down there. It's bowl prep. They're getting after it pretty good. We got Trey Henderson running around. Like, I feel better and better about us versus Missouri. Missouri doesn't have the experience we have. I don't think Eli Dinkwitz has the experience that Ryan Day has. So there's a lot of really good telltale signs about what's going on in bowl prep and what's going on towards this game because Missouri's never played a game like the Cotton Bowl. This is a big game. This is a bright lights, big venue. This isn't the Armed Forces Bowl, some of the trash games they've played in the last couple of years. But how are you feeling right now?
Well, Ohio State's going to win the game. I'm just telling you, Ohio
Yeah.
State's going to win the game. Ohio State's better at just about every position, and Ohio State's going to win the game. I won't even put the qualifier of if something weird doesn't happen, or I don't think it's. I don't think it'll be close. I think Ohio State will win by multiple scores, and that's not meant to denigrate Missouri, but I just think we're better, and this is not the typical going into the bowl game and just going through the motions type of thing for Ohio State. That's not where they're at, and I think as a result they're going to win. Second thing I'll say, which I found really interesting, which I didn't want to say this because I don't even know, but I'm talking to one of the young guys' agents today, young wide receiver, and I was talking about how much playing time he's going to get in the bowl or how much burn he's going to get. And his agent's like, well, probably not as much because I think Marvin's going to play. And I'm like, wait a second, you didn't say you think Marvin's going to play. And he's like, yeah, I think Marvin's going to play. And I don't see that there's any way in heck that he straps it up and plays in the Cotton Bowl. But it was said to me today, and so I'm like, well, that's really interesting because if that happened, that'd be kind of semi-seismic. Not expecting it, fully expecting him to opt out and sit on the sideline, with his jersey on and his shorts and clapping and sipping a mimosa or whatever else he's going to do. But yeah, that was said to me by one of the representative from one of the young wide receivers, directly into that question about his client playing. So I found that super interesting on Christmas Eve.
Totally agree. Todd Doyle, thank you for the five. Appreciate you and Merry Christmas. Think Devin Brown is using JT Barrett's 2017 playbook. I think Urban, they buried that in the back of the Woody Hayes, about 6 feet deep. I don't think that's going to come back. Seems to be perfect for him with a better passing game. Here's the thing. I think that some of the elements of what we used to do, here's the deal. It's not just what we used to do. It's what every good team in college football does. Like Jaden Daniels, like go watch what he does. They get down the goal line, they run read option, hurry up read option, instant touchdown, easy money. I think that it's more about what is the easiest way to move the football, score points, and protect your quarterback. So again, what some of the stuff Urban did, and I love Urban Meyer like a dad, but some of the stuff he did running the quarterback in the A gap where he gets killed by a big linebacker, big fat D tackle isn't advantageous for the longevity of a college football season. So, you want these guys to run, but they need to protect themselves. They need to slide. They need to take care of their bodies. They need to avoid like the massive hits where they get killed or hurt and lacerated kidneys or whatever. So, I think that I don't think it's a 17 playbook, but I think that if you want to read option with them, some Q power with them, you want to go win the game. Like here's the thing, go win the game. Don't worry about like his longevity and oh my God, if he gets hit a few times, he might not make it 20 years in the league, but you got to go win this game. So, if they got to run down a little bit, then screw it. Run them. And Lincoln, eat your Wheaties and throw a chew in and go ball out because I'm telling you, that's what it's going to take. Nevada, do you think that we're going to be running the 17 playbook? I don't see it. Ryan kind of burned that thing. He doesn't run the quarterback at all, or ran the quarterback a ton. I think there's going to be a healthy little mixture where you do it a little bit. Again, they put that package in with Devin early in the season. But I think that would be the best way for us to be great is to mix in some Q run because that frees up Trey Henderson. It takes up another guy in the box. But your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you'll definitely, yeah, it won't be 17, but you'll definitely see a more the quarterback more fully integrated into the run game. And as you mentioned, Lincoln, I think what they've been having him do during bowl prep is run the Devin Brown red zone package. So when they get in the red zone, will they bring Lincoln in to do that? They very well might do that because they want to get him some burn as well, and that'd be a way to do it. And Lincoln quietly has had a very productive bowl prep. So I think that gives Ryan Day that much more confidence that heaven forbid that if the unthinkable happened and something happened to Devin Brown and he got nicked, that we're not going to Chris Chugalovic. We're going to Lincoln who can actually play. Yeah, and I think that gives him some confidence to call some of those plays, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Another super chat, Chris S. Appreciate you. Again, Merry Christmas. Thank you for the 5. Thanks for the show. As always, we appreciate you guys tuning in. Watching from Tampa. Tampa is one of the greatest cities in the entire universe. My sister-in-law lives there. My father-in-law is down there right now. He's going to fly up here on Christmas Day to see us. Do you guys really think FSU gets around the 500 million exit/cancellation fee they owe to the ACC? There's zero chance that'll ever happen. Nevada, we talked about this at length yesterday. That was just kind of a silly calculation done by the legal team, which they look like the Keystone cops at this point. But your thoughts on the $500 million cancellation fee?
Yeah, no, first of all, that's not what it is. Okay. What the way that thing is going to go down, they've signed the grant of rights through 2036. The grant of rights is a granting of their media rights to the league. Now, what they've said is that they've been misled, that things have been handled by the ACC in such a way that they were misled about the extent of the contract apparently with ESPN is like like ESPN has a sole right to renew the contract after 2027 with small escalators, and they feel like that it's so outrageous that it gives them a position to break the grant of rights because things have been so mishandled by the league. And so what'll end up happening is it'll be a negotiated settlement. I mean, the league will be saying, well, you need to give us the full amount of rights that you would have had through 2036. The Florida State will say, we'll give you nothing because we're doing it, and they'll settle at 100 million. They'll settle at 120 million or so. That's the way that this thing's going to go down. And, for Florida State, it's a real simple calculation. You go to the Big Ten, you make 40 million more per year. So in 2.5 years, you've made up 100 million. If you had to pay that, if it's 120 million, it takes you 3 years, and you made up. And then for the next 20 years, you're making an extra 800 million for your program. You're playing in one of the 2 guaranteed super conferences going forward. Yep. And that's where they want to be. That's why Florida State wants to be there. So no, it will not be 500 million. It'll be some fraction of that, and Florida State will end up in the Big Ten.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that's just the math. Like, there's going to be ripping the Band-Aid off and paying that big number, but you look long term. I mean, and you're saying 40 million, but who knows what the next round of bidding rights will look like if it's Apple, Amazon, the streaming services all fighting over the super conferences. Like, hey, I want the Big Ten's rights, and there's 2 conferences left that are worth anything, and you get these premier plush brands. Because again, like, we've already got Ohio State, Michigan, USC, Washington, Oregon. Say we throw in Notre Dame. Say we throw in Florida State. Say we throw in some of these. I mean, those schools will do anything to be a part of that because the next round of negotiations will be insane. And again, it might be more than an extra 40 million. It might be another 80 million because again, these streaming companies aren't getting any smaller, and that's kind of the way of the future. Fantastic question, Chris. I appreciate you, my man. Merry Christmas. Rich is where. Thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, brother. So I am assuming that if someone from the Cheaters Up North was to talk about the NCAA investigation, they would get in more trouble. Yes. Say the NCAA talked to those that were filming the games. What stops them from talking? Well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of legal stuff right now, like where these guys are saying, "Hey, don't talk to anybody, don't do anything, don't say a word." I think it's really a sketchy situation right now. I think that Connor Stallions is trying to dive on the grenade and not talk to anybody and just kind of circumvent his recruiting or his excuse me his coaching career. But I think there's also a lot of people that are behind him that are a part of him that were paying off his house and paying off his mom's house, his dad's house, or whatever. That they're scared of that too. They're going to be implicated in this. So Nevada, your thoughts on the Michigan scandal? Because I think this is going to be explosive when it comes out. I think that the NCAA is doing their diligence. I think they're really stacking up evidence to try to see, look, this is where we're at. This is what's happening. This is what they did. This is going to be this is going to be an atom bomb getting dropped on that program. This is not going to be a slap on the wrist. Again, as much as people want to be stupid and uninformed, this is going to be really nasty for them. And I think it's going to nuke their program. I think next year they're going to be a disaster. They've got a wicked hard schedule, and I think they're going to have a whole new coaching staff. But your thoughts about it?
Yeah, well, like you look, the strategy they've taken up until now has been kind of just the duck dodge, dip, dutch and dodge type of strategy, and that doesn't work with NCAA ultimate because ultimately in the bylaws, if you're not cooperating with them, that amps up the penalties. And so I think for Michigan, they'd kind of put up the wall of silence, hoping this thing would just go away, and that's starting to crack because people that want to continue to have a job in coaching or continue to kind of have some sort of career kind of going forward, they realize that they can't continue to do this. And so I think for Michigan right now, they're in kind of they're in a bad situation because they have the facts against them and they have the law against them. And so there's nowhere for them to go on this one because it's so open and shut and it's such a clear cut thing. I mean, if all this was about Connor Stallions on the sideline dressed as a CMU coach, recording Michigan State's signals, that would be enough. If that's all there was, that would be enough to just complete, and that would be enough to blast Harbaugh, blast the program, blast everything. But as we all know, it's so much more than that. And it was so many. I mean, he bought tickets to. I can't. I've lost track of the
Like
number of
30
games.
games or whatever it was.
Yeah, I know. I know
Yeah.
it's some ridiculous number of games, and it's like, when you do that, and you've had all these guys that are going all over, doing the taping and filming and breaking it down and doing it shows how widespread this was and what a big problem this was, and how far it goes up. And as we've talked about many times, it's irrelevant if they can. We all know that Harbaugh knew, but it's irrelevant whether or not they can prove that he knew because he is ultimately responsible for everything that goes on at the program by NCAA rule. And so whether or not he knew about it, it's irrelevant in the eyes of the NCAA. It's as if he did, and that's why he's going to get banged.
No, I completely agree. Um, well, it's Christmas Eve, Nevada. We can wrap this thing a little bit early. Do you have any parting thoughts on Christmas Eve for our Scoop family members that are tuned in tonight?
No, I have a couple of player prop bets going right now so I don't need Cole Kmet to make one more catch, and I can't have Kyler Murray rush for 9 more yards. And if that happens, the Nevada Buck is going to have a very Merry Christmas, and I'm going to run out late and buy all sorts of gifts for my kids. But if Cole Kmet catches one more pass, no Christmas at the Nevada Buck household right there. So we're gonna be doing it like in the Christmas story, going to the Chinese place and eating cheap Chinese food with a coupon or something like that. So Cole Kmet, no more receptions for you.
The Bumpus hounds are gonna come tear the house apart. Oh my god, I love it.
Exactly.
That's the best ever. The best ever. Well, that on that antidote, again, we appreciate you guys. Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas Eve. We appreciate you guys kicking it with us. I know that you guys are with your families, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you enjoy this content, leave us a like, click subscribe. Also, click that little alert bell. If you guys need a super last minute Christmas gift before the bell rings at midnight, join BuckeyeScoop.com. It's a great gift for friends, family, mom, dad, wife, spouse, husband, whoever, kids. Again, we are open 24 hours a day on BuckeyeScoop.com. So we are not like Best Buy, Costco, or any of the other big box stores that say, hey, we're done at 8. We're open all night. So if you guys need a last minute gift to give to your biggest Buckeye fan, consider joining BuckeyeScoop.com. It is the best online community in Ohio State sports. It is a premium community, and it is an absolutely fantastic experience. So we'd love for you guys to join our Buckeye Scoop family. That being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. Hope you guys have a very Merry Christmas. Oh, one more super chat. I appreciate you, Deborah. We're going to get you in here real quick. Can't believe Marvin could stand on the sidelines and watch the game. And oh yes, Roll Tide. Deborah, Merry Christmas. See, that's what I'm feeling like. I think Marvin's gonna go eat. I think he's gonna go to this game. He's gonna work hard. He's gonna grind. Again, he's a perimeter guy. He's not gonna get hurt. I think there's a chance Marvin plays. Now again, I could be crazy, but if he doesn't, man, Carnell Tate and Brandon Ince are about to tear this thing up. So I'm super excited about that. Merry Christmas to you, Deborah. Right at the buzzer. Appreciate you so much. But thank you guys. Again, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. It's been a great year on BuckeyeScoop.com. Great you're on the YouTube channel. Thank you for all of your patronage. Shout out where you guys are watching from. And also in your comments, I want to hear, what are your Christmas traditions? What movies do you watch? What do you guys like to eat? What time do you guys go to mass or church or whatever? But I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great time with your families over the next 24 hours. We'll be back tomorrow night, as always. And we appreciate you guys so much. Thank you so much, Buckeye Nation. And thank you, Scoop family. Go Bucks.